Welcome to Casey Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice. We're telling the stories of Kansas City nonprofits and the people behind them. Casey Cares is proudly sponsored by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation. Casey Cares is the intersection of the profit and the nonprofit community, making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. This segment of Casey Cares is brought to you by the Kaufman Foundation at www.kaufman.org. Homelessness continues to plague our society, and Kansas City is not immune, but there are those who are able to find their way out to face yet another challenge, having little or no furnishings or household items when they move in. Well, one area nonprofit has come to the rescue for some. It's Flourish Furnishings, known as the Furniture Bank of Kansas City. Why was it started and how does it operate? Rick Shockey is Flourish Furnishings Executive Director, and he joins us to talk about how this grassroots effort, born through a local church, has helped hundreds make a home. It's so great to have you, Rick. Thanks for being here.
It is such a privilege to be here. What a wonderful introduction. You summarized it all so well.
Well, we're going to dig in more than that. We want to know all the inside scoop. Maybe a good place to start is how this all began. It started through a church organization.
That's right. So nearly 13 years ago, there was a housing employee who went to Church of the Resurrection, and he recognized that there is a gaping hole in homelessness services in Kansas City. And that is, as you said, deals with furniture poverty. So many folks would move into the new place and have nothing. And so this was a ministry that started in the basement of the church called My Father's House. It ran out of the church for a while, and then it moved to what I understand was an interesting location on Manchester Traffic Way and an industrial place. I believe it was the old Armco steel buildings where there were, leaks in the roof and drafty, but just it grew and grew and grew. And so they realized, hey, this thing is really a lot bigger than what we're able to do here. Let's incorporate as an independent 501c3, and let's see if we can reach our whole city. And so we grew and we grew and we grew. And as the only furniture bank in Kansas City, we really have taken on that responsibility of serving as many social service agencies as need us. Right now, we serve about 70 social service agencies in the city.
That's amazing. But I think you kind of just brushed it aside how easy it was to take this organization that was, based at CORE, which is, of course, a large community, several locations, and became an independent organization. Can you talk a little bit about how that came to be and how you managed that one?
Oh, sweat and tears and sweat and tears. So we have only 2 employees here at Flourish. There's me, the executive director, and Paula, who is our director of operations. We have an outstanding AmeriCorps Vista, but everyone else here, over 100 volunteers a month, are the engine of what we do. And some of these beautiful people have been here since the beginning. They were part of the original vision to help this thing be as big as it is. And so we had over 17,000 volunteer hours in 2021. They are the ones who keep us running. So we had over 300 unique volunteers, over 100 a month. It takes us maybe 30 to 40 volunteers on a given serve day when we're serving client families out of our showroom. So they're really it. So it was all of their love and their labor and their connections and their creativity that really helped us to grow to what we are now. And even if you were to come visit now, you see all of this brilliant creativity and love happening in all corners of what's happening at Flourish.
Why did organizers decide to take it outside of the church and make it an independent nonprofit? Why not keep it there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that was before my time. I've been here for a year, so those decisions were made before me. But I think one reason is that we serve a really diverse group of folks. So we serve several different kinds of nonprofits. We serve Christian ministries, but we also serve a Jewish vocational service and Jewish family services. We serve Catholic charities. We serve non-faith-based nonprofits. And we wanted there to be a real sense that we're here to serve the community and that we're here to serve everyone. We also really wanted to give everyone an opportunity citywide to be a part of what we're doing. This is the city's nonprofit. I feel like we belong to this city because we're really here to serve it, because we reach all corners of the city in the various nonprofits that we serve. So that really has given us the opportunity to really be the nonprofit by the people and for the people of Kansas City.
Well, I want to dig in now to really what it is that you do. I have so many questions. You're a furniture bank. Okay. So how does that work? I guess from the donor side, and then we'll get into the recipient side. How do you get your stuff? And where does it go?
Oh, you asked such great questions. So a furniture bank. So we actually just started calling ourselves that when I started. It's our new tagline, the Furniture Bank of Kansas City, to really highlight that we're the only ones who do what we do. Our former tagline, which it still hangs out, is Furnishing Homes with Hope. It's on my sign there in the back, which is really emotive, and it gets the idea of, part of what we do. We're giving hope. But we hope that the idea of Furniture Bank helps people understand that we are a central resource for gathering, collecting, preparing, and distributing items to our client families. So everyone who comes here, we don't serve any walk-ups. Everyone who comes here comes on a referral basis. So we contract with social service agencies who need our services, and they will make referrals. So we give them login credentials, they log into our system, and then they send their clients to our location for a personalized shopping experience. So we hope it is a very dignified experience. We hope that it is a very hope-giving experience, but it's a lot of fun. I know there's a lot of hardship that comes around homelessness or the situations that bring folks to us, whether it's refugee resettlement or foster kids. But this is a really hopeful experience. It's a hopeful moment when you walk in and realize, I don't have to worry about any of that. I don't have to worry about whether I'm going to sleep on the floor tonight. I don't have to worry about whether I can open that can of tuna that was brought to me in a box of food. We give a can opener to every family who comes. So each of them are referrals. So there are a couple of reasons why we don't do walk-ups. We only serve referrals. One, it's because we want to make sure that each person is vetted. So we want to have a demonstrated need. But importantly, and maybe more importantly to me, is we want to make sure they have good wraparound services. It would be tragic if we gave a house full of furniture to someone only to have it end up on the curb a month later because they didn't have rental assistance, or they didn't have employment help, or they didn't have childcare or health care, or all of the things that folks need to stay in place. And so that referral system helps us to just make sure that they have the need, but also the supports that they need in place. So they come here, we take them shopping. It's about an hour experience. They get a personal shopper who helps them select their items. They get everything: couches to beds, cookware, can openers, sheets, towels, all the things that they would need. And we load it up on their truck and we send them with love.
So are you actually delivering these things for folks as well? Or do you have to be able to transport yourself?
Yes, so we don't provide any delivery services. That it's actually a pretty costly endeavor. We've explored the option several times because we know it can be a barrier. But at the size we're at now, providing delivery would be pretty challenging logistically for us. We actually ask our partner agencies to make sure that they've arranged delivery. Some of our agencies, like Avenue of Life, they're a wonderful partner. They send their own trucks and actually a couple of helpers who will help move, which is wonderful. Journey to New Life does that as well. They do prison reentry, and so they bring trucks with them, which is great. But some programs actually have it as part of the the recovery and self-sufficiency process, is that they pay for their own U-Haul, and so we ask them then to bring their U-Haul and a friend or two, and we'll load the truck up for them, and then they unload it themselves.
Where are all these furnishings coming from? What do you offer, and who do you count on to, get the stuff?
Yeah, miracles every day, every day. I just remember a few weeks ago, we were walking around the showroom, wringing our hands a little because we were low on dining room chairs. And there was a knock on the front door, and a little box truck pulled up, and a lady, an angel, came and said, "Hey, I just happen to have 40 banquet chairs that I salvaged. Would you like these chairs?" Yeah, we'd love them. And so there's still a couple out on the floor. We've used those as dining room chairs now for a few weeks. It really is a community effort. We have no large single source of donations, so they come from all over the place. We have so many partners, and I know I would leave one out if I listed so many, because there are so many organizations and people that help. We are open for donation drop-offs. It's our favorite way to get donations because it's the least labor intensive for us. Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to noon. We are open for people to just drop off at our dock in Grandview, which is so helpful. We do partner with an organization called Resupply. They are a fee-based pickup service. They hire veterans to do pickups, so they give veterans jobs to do pickups for them. So they help us out with pickups, but it's really a little bit of everywhere. We do have a couple of special partners. We have a really close relationship still with Church of the Resurrection. We have a great relationship with Blessings Abound. So it's a kind of a neat two-way relationship. It's kind of the beautiful synergy of nonprofit that happens in Kansas City, which is what I love about our really tight-knit nonprofit community. We'll send stuff to the thrift store that we can't really give away, but we know they can sell. And they'll send stuff our way that they may not be able to sell, but we can use for clients. And so it's a really beautiful symbiotic relationship. We actually have a truck that goes back and forth between both places a couple of times a week. Crowley Furniture has been very generous. They give us access to some of their haulaways. And really just the rest of the community working hard to bring in stuff. Our volunteers bring in a lot of stuff too. In fact, as I was walking in, I saw a volunteer. She had an electric skillet in one hand and a bed frame in the other. She had gone to the Equip Bid auction site. They're our neighbors, and she had bid on these things and bought them cheap, and she brought them in to serve clients with.
So I could donate, or businesses can donate. Once you get their, I would say, loved things, unless you're getting, some new stuff from, you said, some furniture and those kinds of partners, how do you, I guess, upcycle them, recycle them, so that what you're giving away is just not junk?
Yes. Well, you've mentioned a couple of my favorite words, because repurposing, recycling, and upcycling are just part of breathing around here, because that's so important to us. So just real quick, an environmental statistic. Last year, we diverted over 200 tons of waste from landfills. And put to use in people's homes. So this is stuff that would have ended up in the dump that we've reclaimed to use. This year, we're on track to divert 300 tons. That's just stuff that we track. That does not include dock donations. So I'm not even going to begin to speculate how much that is, but maybe 400 to 500 tons is a possibility. We do all that we do here at Flourish Furnishings with 1 3-yard dumpster per week, which is amazing to me. So, but the way we do that is we ask for gently used items. So we do ask that items be in usable condition. I used to say only give us stuff that you would give to your mother-in-law. I have since learned that that's not a good phrase. And so I say just something that you would give to your daughter. That may be, or your mom, maybe that works a little bit better for some folks, but we do ask for gently used. We are able to do some repairs here. I call them my magic corners of my warehouse, because I have one corner of woodworkers, and all they do is repair and repurpose wood. And so we actually had some hotel headboards come in on a donation. So I don't know if you've ever noticed, but hotel headboards don't attach to the frame. They bolt them to the wall. It's just a big slab of wood. Our guys back there, they happened to be guys working on this project, cut these things down and turned them into dining room tables. It was so cool. And a couple of the tables, they didn't even use, they used just the pieces from this hotel headboard. So that's one way that we upcycle back there. Another magic corner is the sewing center. And we have a group of folks who they upcycle everything. If it's fabric, it gets used. A king size sheet gets cut into 2 twin size sheets, or curtains will become a tablecloth. A tablecloth becomes placemats. Placemats become napkins. It is just the coolest thing. Every time I walk back there, I'm amazed at the project they're working on. And the cool thing is, I'll watch them. Like one of our sewers made a quilt out of like bed skirts, like dust ruffles. Our clients usually don't use those. Made this beautiful bedspread. It went out on the floor that morning. It was right out the door that afternoon. And I guarantee you somebody was laying under it that night feeling safe and warm because that volunteer's creativity, which is a lot of fun.
So volunteers are really heart and soul for you.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. So many folks and from all walks of life. We have retired people who, spouses kick them out of the house and they need something to do. And so they come here during the week. But we're also open on Saturdays. We serve clients on Saturdays as well. So Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday are our big serve days. We serve in the mornings. So a lot of retirees and folks who don't work during the week come Tuesday and Thursday. But then Saturdays, a lot of folks who are working during the week are able to come in on Saturday and just pour in all that heart and soul to help us do what we do.
We're talking with Rich Shockey. He's the executive director of Flourish Furnishings. I'm glad I don't have to say that really fast. I love the alliteration, though. It's great. Let's go back to talking about volunteers. What are your requirements? Who are you looking for to help? And I have a follow-up to that.
Yes. Well, because of the nature of what we do, we really have a broad range of skills and interests and abilities here. So a lot of people, when hear furniture bank, they think, oh, I'd have to move furniture. Well, I do need drivers and I do need movers to help me pick up furniture. We do some pickups on our own. So I am always looking for folks who can schlep furniture. But as I described, there are a lot of ways to engage at Flourish, whether that's woodworking or sewing, or we have a corner called Dish Pack, where these volunteers take, because a lot of times dishes don't come in full sets. And so we have great partners like Hillcrest thrift stores who send us their like oddball dishes. Well, our volunteers will match them by theme back there and put them into sets that are made just for our family. So they know exactly how many they have. So like if it's a family of 2, they will pack up a dish set for a family of 2 with a tablecloth and a placemat and napkins that match, I'm colorblind, but they tell me they match, which is really a lot of fun. But we also have like administrative work. I have several volunteers that work off site, some that help me do CRM work and some that help me do some computer work. We run the gamut on the kinds of engagement that we need. Some of my most special volunteers, though, are the ones that do personal shopping. And we really have a high expectation for our personal shoppers because a lot of our clients have been through trauma. And so we expect our volunteers to be trauma informed and to understand diversity, to understand the cultural context that people come from. We serve refugee families, we serve immigrants, we serve people of all ethnicities. So it's really important that my volunteers have a really good understanding of issues of diversity and just to understand poverty, just to understand how hard it is to be poor. And just because somebody may not seem appreciative doesn't mean they don't deserve nice stuff.
Do you have roles for like teens and kids? So many times I hear people say, gee, we want to do it with our family. Is there any mix with that?
Yeah, because we are a warehouse environment, we are a little bit restrictive on how many littles can come and volunteer. Now, I do occasionally make an exception for a family who, wants to bring a young one. We do ask that for people to volunteer alone, that they be 16 or older. And to come unaccompanied, we ask for 12 or older. And they have to come with an adult. But we've had a lot of families who come. We have several who come in who love to serve together. We have a lot of parent-child teams who come in, and that's always a lot of fun. That they keep it in the family and they come and they volunteer together.
What's the best way for someone to volunteer? Is there somewhere we need to go? Someplace we need to call?
So the best thing that I think is an on-ramp for folks is to just get in touch with me and come down for a tour. There's nothing like seeing this place in action. We have almost 30,000 square feet, about a quarter of that is showroom. And it is just, people walk in and are just amazed at the size and the scope and the scale of the operation. I can be reached at rich@flourishfurnishings.org. That's rich@flourishfurnishings.org. That is the easiest way to get a hold of me. And then we can just arrange a time to come down. It's pretty casual. We give you a little 20-minute tour and see the place in action. If someone really wanted to volunteer right away, they can just show up at 8:30, Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday. It is a little simpler to pre-register. So if you go to our website, flourishfurnishings.org, there's a place that I believe the tab says, how can I help? And you click on volunteer. And there just is a place to pre-register, and it saves you from having to type in all of your information at the kiosk when you get here. We do require a tour and a small orientation for anybody that volunteers. But we are a pretty self-sufficient. Well, most of our volunteers are pretty self-sufficient. And so they get a lot of free reign to just employ their creativity and love and skills in whatever way they love to serve.
I have to admire you. You said you've been on this job for 1 year. I know you have a background in nonprofit, but you came on in a pandemic. How has that been for you? And how have you managed to keep things moving forward?
Whew. I think I'm still debriefing from some of the pandemic trauma, honestly. I was just reflecting with a friend on a little bit of what the early days looked like, and they were hard. They were hard days for Flourish. We are an on-site, in-person nonprofit. So the lockdown days were really difficult for us, and they were quite hard. But we adapted, and so one of the things that came out of the lockdowns is we developed a virtual shopping experience, and so we actually still have. I generally have about 8 shopping appointments available on our serve days. I leave one open for what we call a virtual shop. And so if somebody wants to use Zoom, we'll take an iPad around, and we will show them furniture, and they can pick things out virtually. Now, it's much more fun to come on site and do it in place. But we know that a lot of the folks who come to us are vulnerable. They may not have access to healthcare. And so we still require masks for our personal shoppers and our clients. That will probably persist for a while because we want them to feel like we care about their health and we want them to be okay. But being adaptable and flexible was a bit of a challenge. It was personally for me to make a change in the middle of a pandemic was a little intimidating to make the move. But when I saw Flourish and I saw what they did here, I knew I wanted to be a part of it. I really wanted to make a move that just brought me closer to neighbors in need. I really wanted to be with people. I wanted to help an organization that I felt was really ready to move to the next level. I mean, Flourish was already this great, well-oiled machine before I got here, but the needs are so big. And I think here, Ruth, this is really what I think we're seeing in terms of how COVID has impacted homelessness is that we are just beginning to see at Flourish the beginnings of those who really began to struggle in the shutdowns, because it has really taken some time for people to move through the loss of a job, the loss of unemployment assistance, the loss of rental assistance, utility assistance, to then find themselves on the street and then find themselves in a program and then get back on their feet. That's really kind of where we are right now. And so the floodgates have really opened in terms of the need in Kansas City. Considering what's happening, economically these days, I think that will probably persist for at least a couple of years. So we really wanted to be positioned and to be in a place where we're ready for what Kansas City needs. I'm the first full-time executive director for Flourish. It's been volunteers up to this point, or not full-timers. And so I think part of the board's idea was we really want to position ourselves to be ready to serve. And without a doubt, the needs are there. We hope we're making a difference.
What would you say then is the greatest challenge, or the couple of big challenges that you face at this point in time? As you say, we're still feeling that you're still feeling a COVID bump and will continue. Then we've got inflation. and you're the first full time. So I guess, what is your roadmap, see? What are those hurdles you need to really focus on?
Yeah. So growth without sacrificing the integrity of our program. And so it is critically important to me that every person that walks through our doors feels loved and respected and valued. And I want them to feel like this is home for them. So I want my volunteers to have that experience. I want all of our client families to have that experience. I want donors to have that experience. And so we have to scale, but we have to scale responsibly and scale in such a way that our program, or the integrity of our program, remains intact, and that people have a really dignified experience. There's a way to do this in a way that wouldn't maintain that, and that's not okay with me. And that's number one. The second thing for me, I think, is really getting the name recognition out. I want Kansas City to know always that there is a furniture bank in Kansas City, and that we need their stuff. Thrift stores do great work. And we have great partnerships with thrift stores. They have a very important place. But Flourish is the one place where you can bring all of your stuff, and nearly all of it will go directly to a family in need. But not just furniture, right? So we talked about housewares. I really need Kansas City to be in a place where, when they think, you know what, I've got this extra set of pots and pans in there, what should I do with it? I had a donor today mention that she almost threw it away because she didn't know what to do with it. And so I think having the recognition out, so that when people think, what do I do with my leftover stuff? It needs to go to Flourish Furnishings. Is probably our second biggest challenge. And it just takes a community effort to get our name all across the city.
I know we talked earlier about your great volunteers and that you've got ways for people to sign up. Have you seen any change over the last year or so in numbers? Were people hesitant to come because it is such a in-person type of thing?
Yes. Well, as I look back through 2020, without a doubt, our volunteer numbers, both our quantity of volunteers and our number of hours served, took a real nosedive. I mean, we were closed for quite some time. And so obviously it was people were really hesitant to come back. I've tried to stay kind of above the partisan political fray on public policy when it comes to health safety, and to say, look, there's no political statement here, but we're going to do our best to care for each other. And we have varying opinions on masks and vaccines, among my crew. And everyone is welcome to their own feelings and views. But for us here, we lead with love. And I want us to love one another in the way that we volunteer together. And I want us to love our clients well, so that they feel, wherever they're at, that they feel like we're doing everything we can to take care of them. So I think that environment has helped people feel safer to come back. And actually our number of volunteer hours, I think we were at 1,700, if I remember right, last month, maybe the month before, which is a record since I've been here. And so it's been really great to see just the great desire to be together, to gather, to be able to do it safely, but then to be able to serve and to give back to the community in really uncertain times.
Well, you all have been doing it. I know in 2021, you've served almost 800 families with more than 1,000 pieces of furniture and housewares, and that's just incredible. And I know those people who are recipients, just couldn't be happier to have that. It's Flourish Furnishings, Kansas City's Furniture Bank. Check out the organization. Help Rick. Help feel good for yourself to know that other people are, being able to continue their lives and live comfortably. So thanks Rich, for sharing your story.
It was a real privilege to be here with you. And thank you to everyone who took the time to listen and hear our story. We're really grateful for you.
Thank you for joining us for KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice produced by Charitable Communication, uww.kaufman.org. If you'd like to be a guest on KC Cares or Underwriting Opportunities, please visit our website, kccaresonline.org, and spread the love. You'll find us on Facebook and Twitter at KC Cares Radio and on Instagram at KC Cares Online. And you can catch us Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on ESPN 1510 a.m. and 94.5 FM. Thank you for joining us for KC Cares.